Hey there. I've been thinking about something I used to say more often than I care to admit. And it's a phrase I hear over and over from articulate women, emotionally intelligent women. And it comes with a lot of different types of energy. I'm fine. I'm good. It's fine. If fine is your default response when just the opposite is true, and what you responded to still sits in your body as tension or stress, or in your mind long after the moment's passed, this is that conversation we need to have because fine isn't fine. Fine is a mask. Come on in for that conversation with Natalynn. I'm Natalynn. And I coach professional women who want more agency over how they live, lead, or work. Women who want growth, advancement, transformation without overwhelm and without losing themselves in the process. Now, I have to warn you, if you're like most women that I have these conversations with, you may experience some aha moments, moments where something I say really resonates and you think, that's good. I'm going to do that. And you may experience some ouch moments where you think or even say, ouch, I felt that. She's calling me out. How is she all in my business right now? Well, the good news is that both moments are good for you because both can move you to strategic action. And taking action sets intention and energy in motion. There's a saying, no action, no traction. And without traction, you never build the momentum that allows growth and transformation to take root. So, what does that actually look like? Well, sit with me for a minute and think about this. When you start resistance training, you don't decide to do it just one time. No, you decide to do a resistance training routine, a strength building program. And inherent in that decision is an acceptance of the fact that it's going to take more than one visit to the gym, more than one class to get you the outcome you want. You start this routine because you want your body to look different. And you know you're not going to see muscle growth or muscle tone right away. But what you do experience right away is the challenge, the discomfort, the soreness. You don't see anything immediately, but you feel the beginnings of change taking root. And that's the thing. Your muscle mass and your muscle tone are changing in ways you feel before you see. And that consistency of effort, of showing up for yourself, enables change to happen and creates the transformation you don't notice, you don't see until one day you do. Um, let's think about that. One day you go to wave goodbye to someone and you notice what I call that baby mountain, that toned bicep announcing its arrival. Or you put on that belt and realize, you have to go in another hole. So the moral of the story is that transformation happens when you set your intention and energy in motion and you stay the course. So I don't know if this is for you, but if you're ready to have some aha moments, some ouch moments, and gain tools you can use to set your intention and energy in motion. Stay with me, stay the course. So today, let's talk about and let's go deep with this. Why fine isn't fine. I'm fine. It's fine. These are two of the most efficient phrases one can use. They end questions, in conversations. They minimize confrontation, keep the room comfortable. They allow you and everyone else to keep things going and moving exactly as they were. And sometimes that's intentional. Sometimes it's about the capacity to explain yourself. Fine is used because you don't have the energy. Sometimes it's because you don't want to deal with conflict right now. Sometimes it's because you're trying to keep the peace, maintain the harmony, avoid escalation. And sometimes it's because you know if you say more, you might lose it. But here's what matters. In most instances, fine isn't a neutral statement. Sometimes fine is a mask for what's really going on. I've seen this in women. I've worked with women. I used to be that woman whose default response was, I'm fine. It's fine. When almost the opposite was true. How about you? Have you ever used fine to mask thoughts or feelings like, you know, when you say fine, but you're thinking or feeling, I don't have the bandwidth for this matter or this person right now? Or fine again because I don't want to explain myself or justify myself. Or there's no psychological safety here. If I'm honest, this will be twisted. If I speak up, I'll be labeled aggressive, confrontational, defensive. Or maybe fine meant I'm not sure how I feel yet. I need time. Or I'll just figure it out myself. Does any of that sound familiar? And let's unpack a little more. Think about the situation where fine became the default. What had just happened? Did it come after a meeting where you felt invisible? After being interrupted or discredited again? Fine after not receiving the support or resources you were told would be there? What was that? What was that context? And just as important, how did you process that experience? Because many capable, articulate, emotionally intelligent women process experiences by using fine as a bridge back to productivity or to just making it through the situation or the day. And that fine comes not because honesty isn't important, but because in the moment, honesty feels inconvenient, uncomfortable, or even like a waste of time. And there are studies on workplace communication that show that women are more likely to engage in what researchers call protective self silencing, especially in environments where honesty carries social or professional risk. So you see, it's not a weakness, it's adaption. And in and for that moment, it can even be considered a short term strategy. to preserve relationships, credibility, or momentum when the perceived cost of telling the truth feels higher than the cost of holding it back or holding it in. But also consider that this short term, intentional, or default strategy designed to preserve and to protect can have long term impacts on our stress and tension and even our confidence levels. I can certainly relate to that tension. I remember years ago, my first job out of college, something happened that made me feel so angry, so invalidated, so dismissed. And a colleague who witnessed everything pulled me aside and asked, "Are you okay?" You know what my response was. "I'm fine, I'm good." But the truth was just the opposite. I was stiff with tension for hours. And when I finally left work, I stepped off the curb with such force that I snapped the 2-inch heel clear off my boot. I can chuckle about it now, but how I processed that moment as a 22-year-old could have resulted in a sprained or broken ankle. And the reality is that what happens when truth has nowhere to go, and I know I'm not the only one who has experienced this, when a pattern of self silencing or suppressing honest responses leaves the body, what I call carrying the cost and holding the receipts through muscle tension, fatigue, irritability, apathy. And in most instances, that response is not because emotions are dangerous. It's because acknowledged truth requires containment. Mm. You have to be able to hold and stand in truth when you name it. And that containment takes energy. And that's why fine is exhausting. Here's the truth: fine is pretending, it's self censorship. And if you do it enough over time, fine becomes a coping mechanism and you start losing connection to your authenticity and your truth. And that happens in your personal and professional life because they don't exist in isolation of each other, by the way. You begin to shrink to the voices and needs of others, and your needs become background noise. And eventually, if you're like most people, you burn out. You may show up, but you're checked out. Consider this. Consider choosing to honor yourself. Honoring yourself is not pretending to be fine with whatever's happening. Honoring yourself requires honesty. Honesty without collapse, without apology. Honesty that's not diluted, even when, no, mm-mm, especially when you're being honest with yourself. Gaining and maintaining agency is not achieved by shrinking or avoiding truth. You gain more agency when you name what needs to be named, even if the only person you name it to is yourself. And so, on that note, I want to leave you with a few questions to reflect on. And these are questions that can really support you not only in gaining some clarity, but also in deciding on and taking the next right steps for you to move forward differently. Question number one: ask yourself and be honest. When do I default to "I'm fine" or It's fine when I'm not, or it's not. Be curious with yourself, not judgmental. The goal here is to get grounded in clarity. Question number 2. In those moments, what would be a truer word than fine? It's about acknowledgement and showing yourself some grace. Question 3, and it's a three-part question all on its own. Who has earned the truth from me? Who deserves the truth from me? And if it's not safe to deliver that truth to that person, part 3. On a scale of 1 to 10, how committed am I to identifying a safe person, a safe space, or a safe self practice that allows me to release truth in ways that honor and preserve me? Okay. My friend, that's it for today. You don't have to figure it all out right now. Just don't ignore it. I will be here every day and we will keep unpacking this because fine isn't fine. Fine is a mask. And if you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe. Take a look at the links in the description and let me share. Today is day 3 of my commitment to do 100 posts in 100 days. You see, I walk the talk of taking action that sets intention and energy in motion. And I plan to stay the course. That means I plan to be here for you every day without fail. I hope you'll join me on this journey. Then bring a friend along. I appreciate you, and I will see you tomorrow for that conversation with Natalynn.